After 12 years of marriage, the husband and wife had always shared a stable relationship without any major ups and downs. The wife had always been kind, sweet, and loving, and the husband thought the world of her. But recently, everything took a turn when the wife brought up the idea of opening up their marriage. She suggested that they consider allowing each other to date other people, explaining that many of her friends had done it and that it was a more modern approach to relationships, especially in 2024. At first, the husband didn't get angry. He calmly listened to her and started asking questions about her motivations. He wondered if her friends were influencing her decision, and she denied it, insisting that this was her own idea. He then asked if she already had someone in mind, and she again denied it, assuring him that it was not about a particular person. She also stated that she would drop the idea if he wasn't comfortable with it, and they could continue their marriage as it was. The husband, feeling uncertain, asked for time to think about the proposition. The wife agreed, giving him space to process the idea. Over the next few days, he decided to look through her phone and laptop to see if there was any evidence that she might have been already emotionally or physically involved with someone else. To his relief, he found nothing suspicious that would indicate any form of infidelity. While this discovery helped ease his immediate concerns, it still left him with an uneasy feeling about the entire situation. He began to question the motives behind her request. A week later, after giving some thought, the husband came to a conclusion. He told his wife that he didn't believe in opening up their marriage, but instead, he would rather give her the freedom to date anyone she wanted, as he was leaning toward a divorce. The wife was taken aback by his response. She immediately started crying, begging him to reconsider, and express how much she loved him and didn't want the marriage to end. However, the husband felt that his decision had already been made. He believed that the suggestion of an open marriage had altered his perception of her, and he couldn't look past it. She refused to move out of their shared home, so he decided to move into the guest room to put some physical and emotional distance between them. In the days that followed, she became sick and had to take time off from work, but she continued to beg him to come back to the bedroom and to talk things through. Despite her pleas, the husband was resolute in his decision. He suspected that her friends had heavily influenced her, but he couldn't shake the feeling that she might have already been thinking about someone else. His suspicions were further fueled when he discovered something troubling. He checked her phone again, and this time he found evidence of a second phone that he had no idea existed. It seemed that his wife had kept it secret, and when she realized he might have suspected something, she came clean and admitted it. She told him that she had a second phone, and it was used for communicating with people outside their relationship. She seemed to think he already knew about the phone, which made her decide to confess. What he discovered on that phone shocked him to his core. There were conversations and messages that suggested emotional infidelity. She had been confiding in someone else about her relationship and had been planning to take things further. The husband felt his worst fears had been confirmed, and the trust in their marriage had been broken irreparably. At this point, the husband realized that he had made the right decision in contemplating a divorce. He had no desire to stay in a relationship where his dignity, pride, and self-respect were compromised. While he still loved his wife, he felt that his love was no longer enough to make him stay in a relationship that no longer respected him. He realized that her actions, suggesting an open marriage, secretly communicating with someone else, and emotionally betraying him, were clear signs that their marriage had reached its breaking point. Despite the overwhelming evidence of betrayal, the wife continued to plead with him for forgiveness. She promised that she would end relationships with her friends who had influenced her and that she would do anything to make things right. But the husband couldn't shake the feeling that staying in the marriage would only result in more hurt for both of them. He considered the possibility of reconciling, but deep down he knew it wouldn't be the same. He realized that no matter how much she begged, the trust had been shattered beyond repair. His sense of self-respect was more important than any romantic attachment he had left for her. After a few more days of emotional turmoil, the husband received some devastating news. A close relative had passed away in a car accident. This tragedy further compounded the emotional strain he was already under. He had no energy to deal with his wife's emotional needs and still grapple with the shock of her betrayal. In the midst of this loss, the wife insisted on organizing the funeral. Despite the husband's attempt to stop her, she went ahead with it, arguing that this person had been like a son to her as well, and it was only right for her to take charge of the arrangements. The husband, still reeling from both the emotional betrayal and the death of his loved one, felt that she was not respecting his grief and was more concerned with her own feelings. The situation pushed him further away from her. The husband, feeling the emotional distance grow wider between them, decided to completely cut ties. He stopped communicating with her and insisted that she leave him to process his grief alone. She continued to send him messages, claiming that he was being unfair by shutting her out, but he remained firm in his decision. His emotional boundaries had been crossed one too many times, and he was no longer willing to endure the emotional manipulation. To further distance himself, the husband moved into an apartment above his restaurant. He took the ashes of his close relative with him and instructed his brother, who worked as a bartender, to turn away his wife if she came looking for him. When she did, she tried to reach out to him through phone calls and messages, accusing him of being cruel for taking the ashes and not allowing her to participate in the mourning process. But the husband blocked her on every platform and made it clear that he no longer wished to communicate with her. This final act of separation marked the beginning of the end. The husband was devastated by the situation, but he knew that he couldn't go back. His feelings of betrayal were too strong, and his dignity, pride, and need for respect outweighed any remaining love he had for his wife. The divorce seemed inevitable, but for now, he wanted to focus on grieving the loss of his loved one and deal with the pain of what his marriage had become. He wasn't sure when or how the divorce would unfold, but he was determined to get through this on his own terms, regardless of what anyone else thought or